right, folks, welcome back to Dragon Works. Hey, once again, a 2001 Honda TRX250 Recon. This ATV's been in here several times over the last couple years. Good, loyal, repeat customer. Today it's in here. It's been severely wrecked. His son was riding it. They got some property up in West Virginia, and they got apparently a long trail down to the river, and they go fishing. And he was clipping along pretty good, missed a turn, and went over and down a 50-foot embankment or something. And you can see how bad the handlebar is bent back and, you know, crooked there. The boy's okay. Apparently he bailed out, didn't even get a scratch on him. But you can see how hard the impact was when it was flipping over end. It actually drove leaves and sticks, pine needles in between the tire and the rim, causing it to go flat. But that's how that's how violent it was. You can see a couple impacts here where it hit the rock or something. Dented that rim up pretty good, and it busted some plastic off. The little, it's called a splash guard. I call it a heel guard because without it, your heel gets caught in the tire. This is what it looks like when that one's kind of cracked up. I'm going to go ahead and replace it so they're both the same. Not real bad. I'm not sure about the front end yet. It's a little out, but it could have already been like that. A lot of them are. So we have to see what's going on. But if anything, it's probably just a little tie rod, and that's not a big deal. But anyway, yeah, pretty violent crash. But like I say, the boy's okay. It was two brothers were riding that day, heading down to the river to go fishing. And I guess this one was out in front pretty good because the other brother passed the accident, the crash site altogether, and went clear down to the river and realized his brother wasn't there. So he turned around, went back. And by the time he got there, his brother had crawled up, back up on the trail, and they were able to muscle this thing back up on the trail somehow. And they said they, let it sit there for a few seconds and then fired the thing right back up. It had been upside down, sitting there. That's why it's got oil all over the motor and on the top of the motor too. It's not real happy right now, but it does start right back up and run. I would imagine that the spark plug probably had oil all over it. I bet it smoked pretty good when they first fired it up. So that plug is probably half fouled. I'm going to get it checked out pretty good and make sure it's all safe for them and everything as far as motor wise, but have to replace the handlebars and see what I can do about the rest of it. But yeah, it's a crazy story. Definitely a violent, let's see if we can get a good, can't really get a good angle to show you on the camera, but I think you get it on the handlebars there. And like I say, when I come back here, then you can see how bent that handlebar is. But yeah, it's miraculous. The guy, no scratches whatsoever. So anyway, I'm going to be tearing into this. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I got interrupted that day and never got back to finishing the video. So it's a couple days later. I did actually get the tire fixed. I let all the air, pulled the bead off, cleaned it out real good, and got those to reseat both sides of it. So they're done. And I'm just waiting on some parts now. Handlebar, this flap ends up being kind of hard to get. So he said, if I need to replace it, do it. If not, you can leave it. So I do have one of those guards. Called it a flap. I do have this side coming because we're missing it. And then I got some other stuff, get that back together. And I'll service it again. And like I say, one more time, make sure it's nice and reliable. This customer, I guess a couple years ago, whenever, he's got two of them that look identical and then side by side and a couple other things I worked on for him. You might remember there was one of them, what do we got, an 01 and 03 or an 01 and 05 or something, and one of them was stuck in reverse. Remember, I tore it all apart and got it fixed for him without having to tear the motor apart and all that. So same guy, they keep coming back. And the reason I start saying that is because originally he said it's worth putting the money into these things because they've lasted forever. They're so tough. And why go out and buy something else when, you know, he can just keep these maintained and whatever. And before he told me, hey, if I got to rebuild a motor on one, I'll do it because these have been such good ATVs. So I got them, you know, I told them before, start running non-ethanol because they were having to keep bringing them back, you know, because they would sit or whatever and not run. The batteries would be dead. So I got them hooked up, told them to put some tenders on it, which they did. They've been running non-ethanol, so they're getting there. And because of that, these things, you know, they start right up now. You saw it just after all that time, and I don't know how long it's been since it was wrecked. It's been a while, and the thing still starts right up. So anyway, I got some work to do on it. When I get the parts in, I'll shoot some more videos. I know this stuff isn't real exciting, but everybody keeps saying, why aren't you doing videos? What are you up to? Well, boy, am I up to a lot of stuff. It just constantly in and out of here. I barely have time to do it, let alone film it or video it. They don't call it filming it anymore. That tells you how old I am. But anyway, that's enough babbling here. I've got a whole shop full of stuff to get done. You guys wanted to know, so there it is. All right, thanks for watching. Peace out.